Hi guys! I'm going to try to do a video series documenting my knowledge of Destiny. For the record, I'm a total noob. The vast majority of my knowledge comes from Cody, with the rest of it coming from my make-believe fantasy world. If you know anything about Destiny, you'll probably find my thoughts trivial or wrong, and you're probably right. But I'm still going to make videos like this so I can look back a year from now and see how my knowledge has evolved. There are two variants of Destiny: power level advantaged content and normalized content. I'm not even sure if these are the right names, but these are the names I have for these types of content. For power level advantaged content, like Iron Banner, it's important to put on your highest power level gear, or at least gear that is almost your highest level, so that you're not totally outclassed. The other variant is the normalized content. Normal Crucible matches are an example of these. For normalized content, the power level doesn't matter, so there's increased flexibility in choosing gear. This video is going to focus on normalized content since there are more interesting things to talk about. The first thing I think is important to discuss is that the meta doesn't matter. It's true that in theory there are some guns and abilities that are better than other guns, however, until you're at the top of the skill ladder, you'll almost never lose a fight because you had a worse gun. You'll lose a fight because of technical mistakes, like not aiming perfectly, poor situational awareness, not working with your team effectively, challenging a point when you should have backed off, or many other mistakes that are not impacted by your choice of class or weapon. It is much more important for you to use guns and abilities that you find fun and fit your playstyle. The important takeaway here is that I'm going to be discussing my playstyle and why I use certain weapons. You probably don't have the same playstyle as me, and that's okay. My playstyle may also change over time. This video is just a snapshot in history. Now for the details. Let's talk about armor first. All armor pieces have different stats, and exotic armor has special perks. The stat categories you can configure are mobility, which is the movement speed and jump height, resilience, which is your base health, recovery, which is your health regeneration, discipline, which is grenades, intellect, which is your super, and strength, which is your melee. If you've watched any of my Halo videos, you probably know that my playstyle is rather passive. I like running and hiding and only taking fights when I'm likely to be successful. Given this playstyle, my preferred stat is recovery. I want to be able to poke my head up, do some damage, and evaluate the situation, then wait for my health to recover before moving in to engage in combat for the kill. When selecting armor, my current approach is to hold on to my highest light level piece and also my highest recovery stat piece, regardless of the light level. If there is a tie, I break the tie by looking at the intellect stat. All armor that doesn't satisfy either the light level or the recovery requirement is promptly sold. Moving forward, I'm considering switching to a more balanced approach where I look at the total of recovery plus intellect plus discipline when making these decisions, but I haven't committed to start using this approach yet. For my class, I play a Void Warlock because Blink is the ultimate combat ability. I'm sure that at high tier play, there is a reason why Blink is easy to counter, but in my experience, in both PvE and PvP content, Blink is an effective tool to quickly disengage and get out of trouble. Blink does have a steep learning curve and is difficult to use for complex jumps. My solution to this problem is to just practice. I try to use Blink anytime I can, including in places where a normal Warlock glide would be a much more effective tool. One caveat to my armor selection is that I use the ASTROCYTE Verse Helmet, which enhances Blink. I use the Healing Rift on my Warlock and primarily use this as a supplement to my high recovery stat armor. I use Axion Bolt grenades because I like the homing effect, but I haven't really tried the other grenades enough to fully determine if this is the best grenade for me. I use the Chaos Nova Bomb for my super because I like the fire and forget properties that it has. I treat it almost like a grenade, where I just throw it in combat and get an easy kill instead of strategically deploying it. Finally, let's talk about weapons. I'm a big fan of the DMR in Halo, so the obvious and correct guess is that I prefer scout rifles in Destiny. In particular, I prefer 200 RPM scout rifles with high stability so I can rapid fire the trigger and not deal with the recoil. My favorite gun so far is the Night Watch, which I put on whenever I go into level normalized content. As a secondary, I would like to find a good shotgun for PvP and a good sniper for PvE, but I don't know enough to make a good decision on these guns yet. What I do is I just throw all of my legendary snipers and shotguns into the vault with the plan to figure it out later. In the meantime, I use a high stability SMG to mow down enemies who are too close to be easily engaged with my Night Watch. Currently, my favorite is the AFLE SMG v1.0.2. I never pull out a heavy weapon for PvP content, and rarely do anything except rocket and grenade launcher bosses in PvE, so I don't pay much attention to heavy weapons other than placing all of the legendary heavy weapons in my vault. As a summary, I run a Blink Warlock with a high recovery armor and a 200 RPM scout rifle primary with a high stability SMG for close quarter cleanups. This build complements my passive playstyle and is a lot of fun for me to use. With a little luck, I might make more of these pseudo-strategy videos to snapshot my class and my Destiny 2 strategies as I slowly learn how to play the game. If you're interested in squatting up, let me know. I'm actively looking for more people to play Destiny with.
Lives left. Only 1 minute left. Half-life. Seconds. You're out of life. Fight on just a second. 10 seconds. The numbers favored your enemy. You're in the lead. Stay there. Five lives left. Lives left. One minute. You're ahead on lives. You made it all off. No lives left for your enemy. Destroy them. 30 seconds. Slay your enemy. 10 seconds. One foe remains. That's why we have fire team. You annihilated. You have match point. Finish them. lives left. Lives left. 1 minute. Your lives. Enemy team is out of lives. Topple them. Last life. 30 seconds. Slay your enemy and they stay dead. Your team's out of lives. 10 seconds. Tiebreaker active. This is not the end. One opponent remains. Enemies down. All lives expended. Total victory. You caused a total breakdown in their team structure. Well done.